Whoopi Goldberg and Meghan McCain had an awkward moment, another awkward moment on The View. This time, the debate had to do with Georgia's voter suppression law and how Meghan McCain is not happy about private companies and corporations speaking out against the suppression law. So without further ado, here is Meghan McCain's rant, followed by Whoopi Goldberg's, I think, accurate response.
I'm really disappointed in President Biden. If we're in a place, he's the first sitting president in US history to call for an economic boycott targeting a specific state. This is healing the soul of the nation. This is bringing Americans together. This is being a president for all of America. It is not. This is culture war stuff at its very base level, and it is only seeking to divide us even further. And that is not what I was promised with President Biden. My final thing, if we're going to do this moral equivalency sliding scale with the Biden administration, 100% you need to come out today and say that you are boycotting the Beijing Olympics because there is mass genocide going on with the Uyghurs there. And you have nothing to say. We have nothing to say about this, and we're still going to go to the Olympics where mass genocide is happening, but we are going to boycott everything in the state of Georgia. That is ridiculous. The American public aren't stupid. They aren't. And this is just virtue signaling across the board. And like it or not, Republicans and Democrats have to learn to live with each other. I'm sorry.
Legs. Yes, they do.
I'm sorry?
They do. That's all right. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Are you done? Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Okay, we're
Okay.
So Whoopi Goldberg says, "Oh, for frog legs," which I've never heard that before, and I think that's a great way to get around our no cussing situation. So that was awesome. That was good. Francesca, why don't you take the first shot at commentary on that?
I mean, Meghan McCain and her notes, bless that little notepad telling her how to find her way through her meandering argument of shit that is just pure whataboutism. Like now we're talking about the Uyghurs. What are you talking about? No. So yeah, it's, if there is a small pedestal anywhere, if there's a milk crate, Meghan McCain wants to stand on it. No matter where I'm gonna stand on this and just say some BS, whatever it's gonna be. And frog legs indeed. And my favorite, of course, is just Anna when she gets interrupted. Just what? Just
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry. If you could give white privilege and into one moment, that's what it is. How dare she be interrupted? What did you think?
I think that she caught on to the fact that they were styling her in comedic ways, and so they toned it down after she probably had a meltdown about it behind the scenes. I also think that the fake concern coming from the right wing in regard to the Uyghur Muslims is grating on my nerves, especially because, look, if she was genuinely concerned about the treatment of Muslims in China, which by the way, I am, then yeah, it would be great if corporations took a stand and stopped exploiting underpaid labor in China and decided to come back, bring jobs back to the United States. That'd be fantastic. But the United States government certainly doesn't pressure companies to do that. In fact, our whole pivot toward globalization was done specifically to take advantage of cheap labor abroad, not just in China, but other countries as well. And at the end of the day, the treatment of people in China is not any of the GOP's concern. Business interests don't care about it. I would even venture to say that business interests in America don't even really care that much about what's going down in Georgia. There was backlash toward companies who are based in Georgia, not speaking out against the law, and they decided to give into that pressure and make some statements. With the exception of the MLB moving its All-Star game out of Georgia, these companies have just issued statements. And that's all it takes for conservatives like Meghan McCain to lose her mind. And to call it a culture war issue is so incredibly stupid when we're talking about our democratic process and a law that was specifically signed following Donald Trump losing that state to Joe Biden.
Yep.
There wasn't a single shred of evidence indicating that there was voter fraud in that state, but the GOP moved forward with that legislation specifically because they wanted to game the system to their advantage. It is undemocratic garbage. The very undemocratic garbage that should upset people like Meghan McCain, who are constantly singing the praises of our soldiers and how they have risked their lives to maintain and save our democracy. Well, our democracy is under attack, Meghan McCain. This is incredibly disrespectful to the soldiers who fought to keep democracy, the system of government in this country. But she has nothing to say about that because she doesn't know how to connect the dots. That would require reading. That would require thinking. That would require doing more than just regurgitating stupid talking points coming from goons like Brian Kemp.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the point of her role on The View is to have bad faith whataboutism arguments. I agree the issue of the Uyghurs is important. That is not the conversation that we're having. And she started that by talking about New York, and she's just pointing the finger, well, New York's voting, yeah, New York might need to improve their voting access. That's not what we're actually talking about here. So that once again, the right it's constantly about the right does something, Republicans do something like try and take away voting rights. There's a response to that, and then suddenly it's cancel culture. Suddenly they're the aggrieved party. It's all about the victim. They talk about, the woke over whatever, the victim. You have such a victim complex. They have a victim complex. Why? Because they want to be the victim so bad. No matter how much they're the aggressor, they want to be the victim. You talked about the military. You like the military? Hey, let's talk about the sexual assault rampant in the military. A woman accused, a woman says she was raped by 22 servicemen. Why am I talking about that? I don't know, because we're just doing whataboutism. What about the military? That's a bad thing. Like it goes on and on and on and on. And so Meghan, man, it's sad because like I hear you speak and I'm like, man, once again, Anna should be on The View, because then there would be substantive conversation. But that's not her role there. That's not and it's funny because Whoopi and Joy, they also know. They know that. So, like I get why they interrupt her. I get why they're mad, but also that's the show they work on is very much an entertainment politics show. Meghan McCain's not supposed to make sense.
Please, Francesca, as the New York Times wrote a few years ago, it's the most important political show in the country. Okay. I'm not kidding. The New York Times literally published a piece with that title. And that's really depressing because you're right. I mean, Meghan McCain does certainly serve a purpose for that show. She's the heel. She's the one everyone loves to hate. She's the one who's willing to say, without really realizing it, all the dumb things that people love to dunk on her for. The thing that's frustrating though is, well, I can see the frustration coming from people like Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar. I don't really see like a robust, calm debunking of the nonsense that she spews on that show. And that's the infuriating part, right? I think Sunny Hostin time to time does a decent job, but overall, it just seems like the response to her, as much as we love to see it because it's funny, ends up just looking like catty fighting. When in reality, there is an important and substantive response to the nonsense that she's spewing right there. And it's important for people to understand it, right? Because this is not a product of cancel culture or the culture war. This is really an issue about protecting people's voting rights in a state that didn't like the outcome of the last election. And so they just decided to game the system. That's what this is about. And I would venture to say that democracy is a lot more important than Dr. Seuss or whatever other culture war BS Republicans want to focus on any given week.
Kasparian versus McCain. I need to see this debate. I need to see this debate.
I mean, culture war stuff is like, it's Ben Shapiro crying about what. That's culture war stuff, okay?
Things we can never attain.
Yeah. Well, not with him, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Things he will never attain. Indeed. No, that's
why he's befuddled by it. He's like, what is that?
They're literally trying to cancel what. That's what the right wants to cancel. How are we not making this an issue? That's the other thing.
It's been a party brand, Francesca. It's been a party brand. It's like been their heart and soul for a long time now.
Yeah, and that's why I like culture being equated with brands is so gross to me. You know, sometimes like I like Kaepernick. I know it's important to have corporate sponsors. That means something. It's not my idea of progress necessarily. So I feel like the left and Democrats need to get better outside of the corporate structure of having our own like actual culture. You know, like we do. There's way better. I mean, Cardi B is wonderful. I don't think she's part of any kind of democratic structure. But yeah, Greg Gutfeld's gonna get a nightly show, another nightly show.
It's gonna be dope. It really is. I'm sure it's going to be widely viewed. I think it's going to be, he's going to be a showstopper. Everyone's going to want to be him. Greg Gutfeld, I mean, come on, household name, super entertaining, funny, witty. Looking forward to it.
When I see him, I actually see clown face paint. Yeah, works.
Totally. Man, failing upward is like as American as apple pie. It's amazing. It really is.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.